Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Social Media Roundup. This week we're talking about how Instagram is going all in on stories, Facebook dating, and everything in between. Remember, if you like this video, click the like button and subscribe below. First up, Instagram is going big on stories. We found 6 new features that could be integrated in the future. They're currently testing them now. First up, you might have the ability to mute users on your Instagram. This is going to be a great way for if people keep posting the same thing and you're starting to get bored of it. If you just want to mute them for a week or two, you can just do that so you're not constantly getting this stream of content. Next up is they're looking at adding slow-mo into stories. This is going to be a great way to really change up your stories just from plain video or plain pictures to have some slow-mo. Slow-mo looks amazing all the time, so that's going to be great. The other thing they might be doing is adding a calendar for your stories. So this is going to be directly for your stories and not for anyone else's, but it's going to be a view to see when you've posted them, what you've posted, so you can look back at what you've been doing and see necessarily what's worked and what hasn't. You'll be able to then make a new plan for your stories and really engage the audience better. Next up, you'll be able to react to stories with an emoji soon. This is something you can already do on Facebook stories, but they're just pulling that functionality over to Instagram. It might be a nice way to get some more engagement on your Instagram stories. Next thing they're looking at doing is integrating Facebook even more. So you'll be able to tag your friends within your stories. This is going to really start maybe pulling people from Facebook to Instagram. If they're not already on it, they'll get a notification on their Facebook saying, oh, you've been tagged in this story, why not come check it out? And then you'll have to obviously sign up to Instagram. It's also a great way to combine the platforms together, a bit of a cross-sell. Last up, video calls could be coming to Instagram very soon. It's going to be a great way to take on WhatsApp, Skype and everything else. You know, if Instagram can do it, why go anywhere else? To continue with Instagram going big on their stories, they've recently partnered with GoPro, and the latest GoPros now have stories integrated within them. So you can film from your GoPro and post that directly to your Instagram stories straight away. This is amazing. It's going to be great for a lot of influencers and a lot of brands. Imagine Red Bull being able to get one of their athletes to post directly to their story from a fresh shoot. If they've been going somewhere and doing an adventure, they can immediately post it. It's also going to be good for everyone else. You know, if you want to share a quick clip straight away, it's really going to be good. To continue with the story partnerships, they've partnered with Spotify as well, so you can post from Spotify into your Instagram stories of what you're listening to. This could be a great way to engage users with obviously more about what you're doing and who you are, but also to promote potential music. If you're a musician or an artist, you could post your album and they can go directly to Spotify from that. To access this, you need to go onto Spotify, click share on one of your songs that you're listening to, or an album or a playlist, and then there's a button on that says share to Instagram. Instagram have sneakily added a native payment functionality into their platform. So this means you can purchase items directly from a brand's Instagram account without ever having to leave the app. This is quite an interesting move. Obviously for brands, you want to get purchases anyway, so whether they're going to your site or not, it kind of does matter, because if they're on the site they might buy more. If they're not, they're only going to buy that one item you've got. But it means they might engage with your Instagram more because they're already in there. They might have bought something and then comment on the post, and then they might look at something else and buy another thing. So it's going to be a great way to get a bit more engagement out of your Instagram. Still talking about stories, the stories mode across all platforms, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or even WhatsApp, the story mode is due to surpass feed posting. So more people are actually starting to post on the stories than they are on the feed. They're also engaging with these posts more than they are on the feed. So this is a great chance to start thinking about how you can use stories better. How can you create a story, create your brand posts within that so that they mean something to someone. Rather than being there all the time, you've got to remember they're going to go. So they'll be posted, they'll be up for 24 hours and then they'll be gone. No one can see that again. So you need to start thinking about how you can engage users on that. What are you going to post? Is there a stream? Instagram last week added the potential to add 10 pictures at a time or 10 videos at a time. So why not take use of that and create this story rather than doing one post here, one post there, and people some like it, some comment on it. Get this story-driven feed going. Twitter recently added a functionality that means the news is posted right at the top of your feed. So when you go to the home, breaking news and latest news will always be at the top. This is great for publishers, great for content creators who are talking about news. It's also going to start grouping multiple posts about the same news together. So you can really get an idea of what the news is at a time. It looks like Twitter is starting to try and really grab publishers from other platforms. We know Facebook is cracking down on fake news, and a lot of publishers are really worried about that. They're worried that their news isn't going to get out there, whether it's real or fake, who knows. So Twitter are really trying to push this news feed, so get the publishers on board. And Twitter also is probably the best place to create conversations and to engage in conversations. So why news isn't featuring so heavily before, it's probably a good idea for them to do that now. Talking Snapchat now, they have recently opened up their ads manager to story ads. So because of their latest redesign, they now have a Discover tab. So that's where you can find all kinds of new stuff. It's kind of like a recommended zone for Snapchat. Now you can post ads on this, which is going to be a great way to get more engagement on your ads. Because what used to happen is you'd post an ad and it would go in between two bits of content and people would just be like, oh my god, I don't want to see this, I'm wanting to watch this content and this content, not your advert. But because it's on the Discover page now and it's going to be featured quite high, it's going to get more engagement because people are going to click on it for a reason. They're going to want to watch that advert that you've posted. This ad system at the moment is going to work on a auction type system, so very similar to Google AdWords. Depending on what your keywords are and what you're targeting, it will cost a bit more to be higher or lower, and you can set all those kind of things. So it's quite an advanced ad system, and I think it's going to be a really good move for Snapchat. Next up is Facebook dating. They're trying to take on Tinder with this, and obviously all the other OkCupid and various other channels. What they're aiming to do is create longer lasting relationships. So Tinder tends to be towards the one night stand side. Obviously there are relationships that have come from it, but Facebook are really trying to push this longer relationship system. So to help with that, obviously the profiles look very similar to any other dating app. There's not really much they can do in that sense. But they're also opening up the ability to show what events you're interested in. So if you're looking for someone in Manchester and you're going to a particular art event, not only can the people looking at your profile see that you want to go to this art event, if they're going as well, they can also start talking to you about it. So it's creating a bit more engagement. It's not just what you type to each other, there's also a lot more behind it. Next up with Facebook, they are going to do a redesign of Messenger. So they're going to simplify this down. It's going to be a lot more compact. They've gone from 5 tabs or 5 buttons and 3 tabs at the top to just 3 buttons. So they're not necessarily getting rid of any features, they're just combining them, making it easier. There was a lot of clutter on the Facebook Messenger platform, so I think they're just trying to make it easier for people to use, kick out some of the clutter and just combine things that could be combined. Also with your Facebook pages, they're going to get some more video metrics. So they want you to put more video on your pages. So they've added these extra metrics in, things like your audience retention and other follower versus non-follower video watches. So it's just a better way to gauge how your videos are doing and just engage with your audience better, create better videos. You can see what's performing better than other videos. Finally, We've recently been looking at some virtual influencers. These are something that's come out recently, and they've got this massive following, but they are not real people. They are virtual, they're 3D renders of a character, obviously in an environment. They are rendered in the real world, so it looks like they're engaging with the real world. They've been created with some amazing skill, and the posts are amazing. It looks like a real life. But it's interesting to see that people are actually really following these and engaging with them because they aren't real. But it does bring some extra ideas into it, as in, are Instagram influencers even real themselves? What we see on Instagram's feeds isn't actually a reflection of someone's actual life. Obviously you're going to post the best bits, you're not going to post all the bad bits and all the bits that you don't want people to see. So it's quite an interesting thing to see that these virtual influencers are gaining a lot of traction, and they're gaining a lot of followers and a lot of engagement. The other thing people are doing with them is they can obviously ask a question and then render something around that, or they can render new things. One influencer in particular has actually had some partnerships with various magazines and various modelling agencies. So it's amazing to see how well these things are performing. That's everything for today. Hope you liked the video, and I hope you've learned something. If you liked the video, remember to hit subscribe, like the video, and we'll keep you up to date with further social media news.